This is Leonard to Sons. I'm Doug Keating. It's 2024 and I'm talking about travel. Today I'm going to share 5 reasons I love traveling to Europe. This is actually an update to a previous video that I shot. I watched the old one, it was kind of cringy, and I've actually been back to Europe many times. In fact, I went there 4 times last year, which seems like a lot, and it is. Hopefully this video will explain why I love going there. Before we get into the specific reasons, let me answer the big question, which is, why do I travel to Europe at all? It is my favorite part of the world to explore. I consider it my playground, and going to Europe never gets old to me. For example, you see a picture of the Eiffel Tower here. I've been to Paris probably 4 or 5 times. Every time I see the Eiffel Tower, I get excited. That's how much I enjoy traveling to Europe. It never gets old. Reason number 1, family heritage. My mom is German, a first-generation immigrant. She met my father in Berlin. They got married and she came to America. My dad's family also traces its root back to Europe. So my family basically is from Europe. Now, I'm not saying you need to go to Europe. All I'm saying is go to wherever your family's from. I think it's important to learn about your family. For example, here's a picture of my mom with her mother, my Oma, in Dresden, Germany, where she's from. Reason number 2, I live there. While I was in the Army, I was lucky enough to be stationed overseas in Germany for almost 4 years. While there, I lived in 2 different places. The second one was a wine village called Iphofen. A lovely place, had a wall surrounding the village, vineyards all over the place, and this is what the town gate looked like. I really enjoyed living in Europe and had a chance to explore all over while there. It gave me the wanderlust that I suffer from today. Reason number 3, the sights. There is so much to see and do all over Europe. There's museums, castles, nature, mountains, churches, fortresses. You name it and Europe has it. For example, you see pictured here my son Riley by Mont Saint-Michel in France. This place is just magical. I definitely recommend going there. One of the things I love about traveling to Europe is you don't have to go far to see a bunch of different sites. Reason number 4, the pace. One of the reasons I love visiting Europe is the pace is slower. American society is intense. We tend to move quickly and at times at hyper speed. Europe just moves at a slower pace, and I don't mean that in a negative way. One of the reasons I go there is to downshift, relax. You see pictured here a cafe in Paris. A wonderful way to spend an afternoon is drinking a cup of coffee and just watch Parisian life walk by. Reason number 5, the beer. Let's get serious for a second. I love beer, and the best beer in the world is found in Europe, hands down. As an American, I'm a huge enthusiast of the American craft beer movement. I support my local breweries as much as I can. Having said that, there's no comparison to German beer, Belgian beer, and other beers found throughout Europe. A great way to spend a day is to visit some breweries in Europe and enjoy the wonderful beer. Bonus reason for why I love traveling to Europe, football. For my American audience, soccer. The best soccer in the world is played in Europe. There's the best leagues, the best players, the best games. They just know how to do it right. If you want to have a wonderful, exciting sporting experience, I recommend going to a soccer game somewhere in Europe. Their fans are going to be the most enthusiastic and crazy fans you've ever seen in your life. Europe is not perfect. Let's talk about one thing you may not like if you decide to travel there. It is popular, and that means some sites are overwhelmed by tourists. For example, you see pictured here, Venice. The city's taking measures to limit the number of tourists going there because it has gotten crazy packed. They're not allowing cruise ships anymore. They're going to charge people money. To me, it's worth it. Hopefully that'll limit some of the crowds. The last thing you want to do is experience shoulder to shoulder, wall to wall people everywhere you go. With that thought in mind, my one big recommendation if you decide to go to Europe is travel during the off season if at all possible. In my opinion, you'll just have a better experience. I mentioned I went to Europe 4 times last year, and I'll say all the trips were during the off season. Let's wrap up this video with 3 of my favorite things about European travel. Number 1, my favorite country, Germany, for the reasons I mentioned. Number 2, my favorite region in Europe is Catalonia, located in northeastern Spain. I think it's just an amazing place. Start in Barcelona and wander around. You'll love it. And 3, what is my favorite capital city? Paris. As mentioned, I've been there many times. Always have a blast and excited to go back.